can start up again. All right, we're going to take two here, and we're going to have some audio this time, so you'll be able to hear us. Thank you to our production assistant over there, or intern, Hayden Michaels.
No, good job, buddy.
Well, welcome to take two of the PHC special PHC show here from the NCHA Metallic Cup Futurity and Spur Ranch World Finals, which are coming up here very soon this weekend. Joined, as I said earlier, which you didn't hear, with the Spur Ranch people here, Ms. Shannon Lamb and James Figiel. Guys, welcome.
Thanks, Mark, for having us.
Thank you so much.
There's been so much buzz about all the added money here at the World Finals this year. There's several classes up for grabs,
yes.
And as more money gets added to this thing, it really does come down to the end of the year and to the World Finals, which is
what we want.
It's exciting.
We want it to be that kind of show.
Yeah.
Where there is opportunity for some excitement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and there's, like this year, just in the non-pro, for example, I mean, Elizabeth has got a $32,000 lead,
yes.
or $34,000 lead in there,
well.
I believe.
Yeah.
Done really well, but mathematically, James, you're sitting second. It's still up for grabs mathematically.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun, you know, and we haven't had those kind of races where people can get caught, and it's kind of made it fun, you know, to where you can catch people, and it makes it a fun atmosphere. But it's not just me. I mean, there's several other people that come in there too. So that's giving everybody a shot with all that added money. So.
Yeah, the Open, the non-pro, and the 35K non-pro are all still up for grabs as far as the championships. But quite a few of those other classes still have second and third up for grabs.
Yes.
And there's some really tight races in there.
Yes, sir. There
Reserve
sure is
up for grabbing several classes, which is a big deal.
Oh,
I
huge.
mean, we've changed the buckles. They're beautiful this year, and more money, and you know, we've tried to make it where world champion wasn't just it. Reserve, top 5, top 10. I mean, we wanted everybody to benefit and to fight for it.
Yeah. Well, it takes so much effort and commitment to get to this top 15.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have one horse. I ride several. I have one gelding that's had 230
something runs.
30 some odd runs this year.
Yeah.
He's taken a little vacation before, but that's what it takes. And you have to have 2 or 3 horses in some of those in the rider classes to get that done.
Yeah.
And then you have your novice horses who that's on the horse, and they have to have at least that many runs. So it's been an interesting year.
Well, yeah, no, it is, and there's so many shows now, and obviously everybody has their own little technique or the game plan with where they go.
Right.
I mean, there's the West Coast side, there's the North, you know, the South, East. It's everybody kind of has to pick and choose shows, and obviously there's a lot of games that get played throughout the year with all that. But it's so exciting when we get down to here, and let's talk about that atmosphere in the Watt Arena for a minute with what that's like. I mean, what's it like for you guys being down there showing in that?
Oh man, it's dynamic. You know, so this will be my second year in the non-pro, and I've always done the novices, but there's nothing like that open and non-pro atmosphere. I mean, everything's great at the World Finals, but I mean, seems like every year the fire marshal comes in, they're kicking people out because it's so crowded, and
which is what we want.
They're the top 15 best horses in each class, and I mean
in the world.
I mean it's
supposedly,
you know, you've got horses that are 15 years old competing, and you've got horses that have got double riders, and I mean it's impressive. You've got Hall of Fame horses, you've got Hall of Fame riders. I mean there's nothing better than watching that. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I mean, how many horses can you see that can go mark a 220 or better? And you're going to see multiple 220 or better scores.
Just the Open this year is going to be fire. Yeah. Because it's been studs for a while that have fought it out. This year it's mares.
Yep.
So we got some mare power coming in, and we've hauled with a lot of them and watched that class. Yeah. And I mean, there are some wicked mares coming in. It's going to be exciting.
Well, and that race in the Open is just unreal. There's $8,000 difference between Christian Miller and Tracy Barton on RJ Sunny Squared and NRR Pedal Cat, and that's been quite. That's going to be fun to watch to see how that'll. And not to forget, in third place, we've got Mike Wood on Natreus.
Who's a fabulous horse.
Yeah.
So,
and Mike's always tough.
I mean, Mike,
especially there.
Mike can come in and do amazing things.
Yeah,
so.
the Woodhood comes to play here when it comes down to November. There's no doubt about that. And like we mentioned, you guys have got some horses in there. Shannon, you're sitting 5th in the non-pro right now, 2nd in the unlimited amateur. and then you both showed twice baked in the 25 novice non-pro.
Yes, sir.
I did sell him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did, to someone who had lost a horse and passed away, and she needed a horse, and so I'm not sure whether she's going to find it's a trainer, a non-pro to show him or not. But he was great. My assistant trainer did really well on him. We all did good on him.
Yeah, he's a good little horse.
But he fit her really well. So I don't know if he'll be there or not, but he still ended up
well, Galen made the finals in the 25 novice, and like I said, you guys made it in the 25 novice non-pro. And then James, you're sitting second in the non-pro, like we mentioned. You're already wrapped up a championship here on Ranger Hughes.
Yes, sir.
And also showed Ranger Hughes finalist in the 5K novice non-pro.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of funny, like with that horse, my plan was to show him in the 5 non-pro this year and kind of get him seasoned. But the 5 non-pro is kind of a fickle class, so sometimes it makes and sometimes it doesn't. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to change. You know, it didn't make for a couple months, so I was like, I'm just going to go to the 25. And, you know, he's an outstanding horse. I mean, we feel very fortunate to have him. And I just started hitting a lick on him, and I was like, you know what, I got a shot. So
I was sitting second in the 25 non-pro, and in the middle of the year, he said, you know, I think I'm going to start showing in the 25 non-pro. And now he's got it locked, the World Championship locked up, and I'm like, great, that's okay. If it's anybody, I'd rather it, you know, of course, be home. So
pretty special to win that. I've been second in it, so getting to win that class is a big deal for me too. That's a tough class. I mean, there's those top 5 or 6 horses in the Open, 25 Novice Open and 25 non-pro. I mean, they'll be your Open non-pro horses next year.
I was going to say that the idea of that class, well, especially the 25 Open, is that those are the horses that will graduate into the open classes.
Well, and let's talk about, I mean, the importance of this. We touched on, you know, the weekend horses are kind of your passion, and the weekend shows, and how important it is for these horses as they come out of the aged events to still have a shot at winning some big money, you know, for their careers and keep going down the road.
It's important. I mean, and there's a lot of horses that, you know, maybe didn't get that shot when they were younger. They had soundness issues or just whatever the reason may be. Now they get a shot to come compete, and honestly, if you get to watching, some of the best horses in the industry were horses that were not really good age event horses. Like a lot of them had a second career as weekend horses, you know, and it's just neat to get them the notoriety they deserve.
Well, and we're fortunate, our trainer Galen Wells can see that. Like, that horse may not have been one of the hot shot limited age, but there's something about him, and he can take them, and I don't know what he does.
Galen
it's
works magic
to me.
I mean, Galen's here every year, and
then they end up being these great weekend horses. I mean, and we also have been fortunate to buy some already
nice
great horses.
Too, it's definitely special.
It is.
It's a lot of people don't realize it's hard to keep those horses together. It's hard to keep that deal. It really is I mean, everything's a team dynamic, but the weekend deal really is a team dynamic because you're trying to keep horses sound. You're trying to keep them wanting to cut. You know, it takes a special group of people and a group of horses to do it, and it's when you've reached that goal, it's very rewarding.
I mean, we've got Paradox Cat Hayden. He's 13. And just going strong. I mean, you know, there's a couple of people I know riding 18-year-old geldings and stuff, and going strong. So it's a whole second career, which I think is so important in this industry for horses.
Well, and you mentioned earlier those horses coming out of the 25 novices end up being open horses, and then as those horses, you know, cycle through those classes, then they end up back in the 2,000 limit rider away from the 35 non-pro.
You know, Hayden did that. You know, he sitting second in that class, and
you know, Mike Woods' girl.
Reserve,
I mean, she's showing this is a third and busted. I mean, those are superstar horses, and then you know you've got a Bet on a Cat with Dusty that works for Cass. I mean, those are some legit good animals, you know, and I mean it's cool to see that cycle come full circle.
The two is an interesting class.
It is,
because normally they're on some big time horses.
Well, it's kind of becoming like the youth. I mean, we see these kids coming in these high-powered horses.
We want the youth to stay where they are because they're the toughest ones in the industry.
They're hard to beat.
They are.
They are mounted, and they have nothing to hold back on.
But we are ready for them to come on.
Yeah.
We are excited about some of them competing in the other classes, in the regular classes.
Yeah. Well, and obviously you're a huge part of the NCHA World Finals and have been for several years now. But you've also got the aged event horses, and you've got several competing across the road here in Will Rogers, and 2 of them are open semifinalists, I believe.
Yep, we've got a getaway car with Jason Clark and Miata with Lance Cooper. And then Lance also made the intermediate on Miata as well. And then we have another one with Jesse Lennox, a mare called Lola Lilu, and Aaron Termino caught rode her in the limited. So pretty cool to see the diversity
of the trainers and the horse. Yeah.
And we weren't sure, but we wanted to be a part of that part of the cutting also. Yeah. So we made that decision last year and bought some of these horses and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. So now weekends still my passion, but I have completely enjoyed the limited age.
Yeah. Are you going to be showing over here?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
You excited about that?
Well, I'll be showing in the amateur.
Yeah.
I am actually. Yes, I am.
How is that transition for you, going from these older horses you've been showing to now?
That's going to be interesting. I like to go fast. Sit and wait.
Yeah.
Sit and wait.
Yeah.
And that's all they sit and wait.
Yep.
Slow, easy.
Slow, easy.
Where in the weekend they're like, get there, stop him, get there. So it's going to be. I don't know. I'd come watch because it might be entertaining.
It could be.
He's very good at it. He transitions well.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to do both. Actually, I think you have there. It's all the same. It's just a little bit slower with the age events, but like you still have to make good cuts. You still have to be accurate. You still have to show your horse. But it's the difference to me is, or the hardest thing I guess I would say is probably the advancing instead of having to go try to win.
Yes.
That's a hard concept because on the weekend deal you have to be marking big scores
every day.
And a 74 sometimes doesn't get you a check at the weekend show. You got to be marking big scores, but like you mark a 74 across the street, that's like you're golden.
Yes.
And so I think the transition is tough, but I think it's also fun because it teaches you how to pilot and do.
That's what I say. I think the limited age will help make me a better pilot, even on my older horses.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it goes both ways and I've talked to several of the young trainers that specialize, the assistant trainers specializing in aged events, things like that, where they're just getting a run here, a run there. The weekend show it teaches you. I mean, because you're getting more runs. And sometimes, even though something's not feeling right, you're still shooting just to get a check and move on because at the end of the year, those checks add up.
Yeah.
But the more you show, the more different situations you're competing in.
Right.
The ground, the cattle, the venue, the weather, indoor, outdoor, whatever. It becomes more muscle memory. You're not having to think about each move that you have to make.
Yes.
And whereas in the aged event, it really comes so precise. But I think that's where those guys that have holed, it really helps them in that aged event part.
You can tell across the street the people that do it, across the board, and it's been really cool to see a lot of the non-pros and open guys come do it because a lot of people didn't really understand what the weekend deal was like, and after they do it, they're like, okay, not only was it challenging, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. They look like older horses, and it's fun to see that.
There's several of the trainer, like Clint Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes and kicks butt on the weekend, but you can see it over here. I mean, they're just.
Well, this is really going to help. I think Christian Miller is one that's really going to benefit from the year he's had this year, regardless of how it comes out. Just the amount of times he's walked to the herd and what he's learned this year and what it takes.
It's been spectacular to watch. In that mare and him. He's an athlete anyway, and that mare is something else. She is.
It's going to be fun and it's going to get loud down in there.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody that maybe hasn't been down to the World Finals before but is thinking about coming down?
There is nothing like walking to the herd at the World Finals. I would encourage them first of all to find a trainer that at least wants to haul enough to qualify.
Yep.
Not all of them want to do it.
Yep.
There's a lot of young trainers that haven't had that opportunity that I would approach about it, because they're chomping at the bit. Find the right horse. Doesn't have to, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a rock star horse. It just needs to be a good, solid,
consistent.
Yes, and that's a whole nother conversation. So because so many of them are way overpriced. You know, they're just out in pastures.
Right.
But find the right horse, find the right trainer. Make a calendar of where you can go and win, and go. Just go and experience it. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Well, and if you can find a trainer like you did in Galen Wells, and there's so many of them in this sport. I mean, Mike Wood, look how many people he brings to the World Finals every year. And you can go down the list, but they're the kind of the trainers that you may not see them over here in the Will Rogers all the time, but those are the guys that are getting people to the World Finals, you know, and that's it's their coaching ability and their consistency and their programs that bring new people back here every year after year.
Well, and it's a win for everybody when everybody does good. It's a team deal, and so like if we cheer for Galen in the Open just as much as he cheers for us in the non-pro, but he also will go out there. And that's, to me, that's the neat thing about cutting. He'll go help the next person in line too, try to win. So
absolutely,
I think that's really an interesting dynamic.
And if who he's helping is before you, they get the next best 3 cows. And that was a rule that he established when I came. He's like, I'm sorry, but if someone else is before you, they get the next.
That's it.
And I'm like, that's okay. It should be that way. Yes.
Well, let's talk about some of the other new things this year. The new jackets, they're pretty flashy. We've got one hanging behind us here.
I am extremely proud of how they turned out.
Definitely had your touch on those.
Yes, and I am very grateful to everyone for appreciating last year's. I was going through chemo and couldn't really participate as much, and but I wanted jackets this year that the guys, the girl, that everyone liked, and that looked more Western. And I want them to be recognized. If someone has one on, people know that's a World Finals jacket.
You can't buy these jackets.
No. Well, you can buy the patch later.
Right.
But this jacket and this patch are only for the World. And I wanted that. Yes. I wanted it to be something special.
Well, and the buckles are also colorful this year. Some rose-colored gold on there, I believe, and stuff. We were hoping to have them here, but they're not quite in yet.
That's it right there.
You've seen them on the webcast. So they're pretty cool in themselves. So it's going to be a special year this year, I think, in so many different ways. We can't thank you both enough for everything that you've done and the support that you've put behind this and stood behind this. And man, it's going to be a fun time in the Watt Arena. If you've never been down there before, thought about coming, it is definitely worthwhile coming down.
It is.
And it's a wild atmosphere, and you're going to see some really good.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And we're doing this year. I also added. I noticed I came in second in a go-round one time, which was really great for me. But the lady that won the go-round, I said, "What'd you get?" And she said, "For what?" I said, "For winning the go-round." So what I've also added myself personally, go-round. If you win a go-round, I put together a whole boot bag with a bunch of goods.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to go around, you get an award.
That's
because
cool.
It's tough.
Oh, yeah.
It is tough to win a go around. So there's just lots of neat things that we want to do and encourage people.
Yeah. Well, and if you'd like to find out more, be sure to go to nchacutting.com or come and visit with James and Shannon while you're here at the World Finals of the Futurity. We'd like to thank Broke Spur Ranch for all their support again.
We love it.
And we look forward to seeing everybody at the World Finals starting this Saturday.
Yep.
Awesome.
Come on down.